Hello and welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Tonight we're going to do another game from our 1977 Red Sox replay. This is going to be game 2 of a doubleheader with the Toronto Blue Jays. It's a game from Monday, April 25th. I think it's another makeup game from a rainout a couple days earlier in Toronto here at Exhibition Stadium. This is again second game of a doubleheader. This is officially started at 4:28 p.m. time, Eastern Time in Canada, which is the same thing as my time, obviously, on the East Coast here in the United States. Anyway, so these are the standings after Game 1. Any also includes any games played by other American League teams. So the Red Sox currently are a half game out, so if they can get a victory here, they can pull to within a half a game of Baltimore. So they're sitting at 8-5. Toronto at 4-12. So let's go to the scheduled games. Yeah, so it's 3 other games. 2 other games that were played. New York at Baltimore and Oakland at California, which I think we'll see the results of those games up on the scoreboard. All right. So in the second game of the doubleheader, it's going to be Bob Stanley getting a spot start for the Red Sox. I think it's his second start of the year. Dave Lemancyk will start for the Blue Jays. So without further ado, let's play ball.
Welcome to the stadium for today's ball game.
Alrighty, so Dave Lemancyk on the hill for the Toronto Blue Jays. He comes in with an 0-2 record on the season, with an ERA of 6. In 18 innings pitched, he's allowed 24 hits, 6 walks, 3 strikeouts, and has surrendered 4 home runs. His actual numbers for the season were 13-16 with a 4.25 ERA. So the Red Sox lineup are pretty much the same, I think, as the first game, except for Denny Doyle will get to start for Game 2, the regular. Steve Dillard, I believe, got the start in Game 1. He committed a couple errors, so anyway, so Rick Burleson will lead it off, the shortstop, the Rooster, followed by Denny Doyle, the second baseman. Jim Rice is your DH hitting third. Kyle Yastrzemski, the captain, is the left fielder hitting cleanup. George the Boomer Scott will bat fifth and play first. Behind the plate is Carlton Fisk. In right field is Dwight Evans. Butch Hobson, the third baseman, hits 8th, and Rick Miller is in center hitting 9th. So Rick Burleson hitting .250 with 2 runs batted in on the season. We'll step into the box. The defense behind Lemancyk is Woods in left, Baylor in center, and Velez in right. The infield left to right is McKay, Mason, Garcia, and Alt. And behind the plate is Alan Ashby. Lemancyk on the hill has a range of 2 with a hold rating of 0. Alright, so Rick Burleson, .250, 2 runs batted in. Gets it started for the Red Sox in Game 2 of the doubleheader. The Red Sox looking for the sweep today. Alright, it's going to be a ground ball to first. It's going to be a range check on Alt. Alt is a 3 range. And, dodges a couple errors there. Bobbles it, but is able to handle it. Flips it to Lemancyk for out number 1. So Denny Doyle up to the plate now. Denny Doyle, after a good start, hitting .356 with 4 runs batted in. And it's going to be off the 2 column. And Lemancyk will get his first strikeout as Doyle goes down swinging. So 2 up and 2 down in the Red Sox. First brings up Jim Ed Rice. Rice off to a good start, hitting .327 with 5 homers and 14 runs batted in. 1 hit and 1 home run in every 11 at-bats so far. So here's the pitch by Lemancyk, 4 column. And that'll be a ground ball to short. Mason up with it over to first, and the Red Sox will go in order in the first. So Bob Stanley on the hill for the Red Sox. Stanley's got a record of 1-0 with 1 save, a 1.98 earned average, 14 innings pitched, 12 hits allowed, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, and has not surrendered a home run yet, which I probably shouldn't have said. Anyway, in the actual season, he was 8-7 with 3 saves and a 3.99 earned average. So the Toronto lineup is going to be Bob Baylor, the center field, to lead it off, followed by Jim Mason, the shortstop. Al Woods, the left fielder, hits third. Ron Fraley is your cleanup hitter, the DH. The right fielder, Otto Velez, will hit fifth. Doug Alt, the first baseman, hits sixth. Dave McKay, the third baseman, will bat seventh. Behind the plate is Alan Ashby, and batting eighth. And Pedro Garcia, the second baseman, will hit ninth. So the expansion Blue Jays will send up Bob Baylor first. The defense behind Stanley is pretty standard. Yastrzemski in left, Miller in center, Evans in right. Very good defensive outfield. Hobson, Burleson, Doyle, and Scott. The infield, pretty much above average, except for Hobson, who's at just rated average range. With Carlton Fisk behind the plate, an excellent defensive catcher. On the hill, Stanley's a good fielding pitcher, very good fielding pitcher with a range of 1. And a hold rating of 0. So the corners, Scott and Hobson, are going to play in on the grass for Baylor, who has some speed. 341, 3 runs batted in. Here's the windup and the pitch. 6 column. That's going to be a range check on Burleson. Gets to it. And makes the play over to Scott for out number 1. So 6-3 on the putout. That'll bring up Jim Mason. Mason hitting .244 with 5 runs batted, 5 doubles on the season. 5 column. And that's going to be a ground ball to Scott at first. He handles it, takes it to the bag himself for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down in the Toronto first. Brings up Al Woods. Hitting below the Mendoza line at 194 with 2 runs batted in, 31 at-bats. Here's the windup and the pitch, 3 column. And that's going to be a fly ball to center. Miller there. Gets a great jump, closes quickly, and retires the side. So the Blue Jays go in order in the first, and after 1 full, no score. So the Red Sox will send up Yastrzemski, Scott, and Fisk up against Lemancyk here in the second. Yaz showing signs of breaking out of his slump. Got his average above 208. I believe he had 4 hits, I think, in game number 1. And at least 3 RBIs, if I remember right. So he does have a home run and 8 runs batted in 53 at-bats. So it's a good sign for your Red Sox fan. You have Yastrzemski hitting well. So Lemancyk looks in for the sign. Here's the windup and the pitch. That's going to be off the catcher card. Ashby with a range of 3. Fields it. And fires over to Alt at first. 2-3 on the putout. So 1 down in the Red Sox second. Brings up George Scott, the boomer. He's off to a good start, hitting .365 with 3 homers and 9 runs batted in. Here's the windup and the pitch off the 1 column. And, oh, he just misses one here. Just got under it a little bit, and Woods is able to make the catch. Against the wall. Reaches up. And it's 2 out. That one being allowed out in the Red Sox second. So Fisk up to the plate now. He's hitting .386 with a homer and 6 runs batted, 44 at-bats, has 4 doubles. And that's going to get in the wheelhouse. And he'll draw the walk as it drops out of the wheelhouse. So Fisk with the first Red Sox base runner, 2-out walk. Brings up Dewey Evans, also off to a good start, .347, 5 homers, 16 runs batted in, 49 at-bats. Fisk gets his lead. He'll be being held on by Alt, and that's going to be off the 5 column. That's going to be a range check on Garcia. Oh, who has a 5 range. Must be because, I don't know, he must be maybe shading towards the bag, expecting Fisk maybe to steal, I don't know. But his range is a 5, so 1 through 8 result will be a hit. And nope, he's able to field it. Fields it. Over to first. And that will do it for the Red Sox. So no runs, no hits. 1 left on base. We'll head to the home half of the second with no score. So it's a bad day here at Exhibition Stadium, as you can see by the stats in the bottom right-hand corner here. So this park is, especially on a bad day, is lefties and no adjustments. Singles and righties will not hit well. Righties and lefties will not hit singles. No modifications to that. And with home runs and doubles and triples, basically extra base hits being a little bit more prevalent with the bad day than the rest of the American League parks. Yeah, that's what I was going to try to say. All right, so Stanley will face Fairley, Velez, and Alt. Blue Jays were in order in the first. Fairley, doing well so far this season, hitting .387 with a homer and 5 runs batted in. Stanley looks in for the sign. Here's the windup in the pitch off the 5 column. And it's going to be a ground ball to Scott at first. And takes to the bag himself for out number 1. So that'll bring up Otto Velez. Otto Velez, .294, 4 homers, 9 runs batted in. 6 column. And that finds the single. So Stanley gives up his first hit. And Blue Jays have their first base runner. So Velez on with a 1-out single. Scott will hold him on. Alt to the plate now. Alt struggling so far, hitting just .180 with a homer and 3 runs batted in 61 at-bats. Stanley looks in for the sign, looks at the runner. Here's the windup in the pitch off the 6 column. And that's a ground ball to third. Hobson with it. Over to second for 1. Back to first. Not in time. But they do get the lead runner. So 5-4 on the put out there. So 2 down now with Alt at first on the fielder's choice. Brings up Dave McKay, the third baseman. McKay hitting .241 with 8 runs batted and 54 at-bats. Here's the windup in the pitch. It's going to be off the 5 column, which is not the column you want to be on if you're a Red Sox fan. However, Doyle's able to handle it. Over to first. And that'll do it for the Blue Jays in the second. So after 2 full, it remains scoreless. So Hobson, Miller, and Burleson up for the Red Sox here in the third against Lemancyk. Red Sox still looking for their first hit. Hobson hitting .216 with 4 homers, 13 runs batted in. And that's going to be off the 2 column. And that'll be a base hit straight up the middle. Baltimore chop over the head of Lemancyk into center field. So Hobson's on. Corners are going to play in from Miller, who could drop down a bunt possibly, but he comes in hitting .229 with 6 runs batted in. In fact, I think we are going to have him bunt. All right, here we go. So corners in. Yeah, 86% chance for a bunt. So we're going to try it. See if we can possibly beat it out. Drops it down. Falls off 2. I think we'll take the bunt off. It's going to be off of the 4 column. Corners are still playing in. And he swings away. Flies out to right. Velez is able to handle it for out number 1. So Miller unable to get the bunt down. Flies out to right. So 1 out now for Rick Burleson. Burleson 0 for 1 on the day. Hobson gets his lead as the windup in the pitch. Lemancyk. That's going to be a range check on Woods. Woods with a 4 range, so 1 through 11. It'll drop in there. Oh, he's just able to get to it. But he's got some misadventures coming now as he handles it. However, let's see what he does with it. Drops it. So he drops it in left center field, allowing Burleson to reach second. Hobson will hold at third. So let's see if the Red Sox can capitalize on the error. So 2 runners in scoring position for Denny Doyle. Doyle 0 for 1. Lemancyk looks in for the sign, looks at the runners, kicks and delivers to Doyle. 6 column. And that's going to be a ground ball to Alt. That should get 1 home. Let's see. Were they playing in? No, they weren't playing in. But Hobson, a safe chance of just 50%. We're going to hold the runners. So Alt will take it to the bag himself. And Doyle is unable to get the run home. Well, either one home. So 2 outs now. Red Sox looking to get on the board. It'll be up to Jim Rice. Rice with 14 RBIs on the season so far. And they decide to walk Rice. Probably a good move there. That'll load the bases for the captain, though. While he had a good day in Game 1, he had been struggling up to that point. So let's see if Yastrzemski can make them pay by potentially walking Rice. As it looks in for the side, looks at the runners, kicks and delivers. That's going to be a range check on McKay. McKay with 2 range. He'll get to it. And make the play. Looks like over to first. 5-3 on the putout. And the Red Sox are unable to capitalize on the error. So after 2.5, it remains scoreless here in Toronto. So Ashby, Garcia, and Baylor up for the Blue Jays. Ashby hitting 158. Still looking for his first RBI. Here's the windup in the pitch. 3 column. Ground ball to Doyle. Sets himself. Takes his time knowing the catcher's running. And is able to fire over to first to retire Ashby. So that'll bring up Pedro Garcia. 206 hitter, 2 RBIs and 63 at-bats. And that's going to be a strikeout for Stanley. Strikeout swinging, his first K of the day. So 2 up and 2 down in Toronto third. Brings up Baylor, who's 0 for 1. And that'll be a ground ball to third. Hobson handles it cleanly. Over to Scott. And the Blue Jays go 1, 2, 3 in the third. So after 3 full, it remains Boston 0, Toronto 0. Scott to lead it off here in the top of the 4th. Scott 0 for 1 on the day. Gets one in the wheelhouse. And he'll get his first hit of the day, a base hit up the middle. So Scott will be held on first. Fisk walked his first time up. Corners are going to play in, expecting Fisk to bunt, but Fisk is going to hit away. 6 column. And it's going to be a fly ball to right. And Velez is there and makes the catch for the first out of the 4th. Evans up there now, 0 for 1. And that's going to be a ground ball to McKay at third. Range check. Gets to it. See what he does with it. Over to second for 1. Back to first. Not in time. So they get the lead runner, but Evans will reach on the fielder's choice. So 2 outs now. It'll be up Hobson, 1 for 1 on the day. How many steals does Evans have? Man, he's only got 4 stolen bases, 2 caught stealing. Never mind. Hobson will hit away. Evans being held on at first. 4 column. And Hobson draws the walk. Seems like Lemancyk was preoccupied with Evans at first. And ends up walking Hobson. So the Red Sox with a runner in scoring position now for Rick Miller. 0 for 1. Flew out to right his first time. Here's the pitch to Miller. It's going to be off the 2 column. And Miller will go down swinging. The Red Sox leave 2 more base runners on. And we'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Still scoreless here in Toronto. So Stanley's been very economical. Just 37 pitches through 3 innings. He'll face Mason, Woods, and Fairley. He's allowed just 1 hit to the Blue Jays. Mason 0 for 1 on the day. 5 column. And he'll draw the walk. Curve in the dirt. So leadoff man is on. Being held on by Scott. Woods up to the plate. Here's the pitch to Woods. And hits it the opposite field. Yastrzemski's there, though. And he'll make the catch for the first out of the 4th. So what happened here in October of 1992? The answer, the first World Series game ever to be played outside the U.S. October of 1992. But here it's 1977, so that wouldn't happen for another 15 years. Anyway, Ron Fairley up to the plate now with 1 down. Mason still at first. Off the 6th column, and that's going to be a ground ball to Doyle. Doyle with a 2 range. Gets to it. Fires the second to Burleson for 1. Throw to first. Taylor-made double play. So that'll do it for the Blue Jays in the 4th. So after 4 full, it remains scoreless. Red Sox with 2 hits, Toronto with 1. So a good, surprising pitcher's duel here. Not expecting that after the last game. And with these pitchers. Anyway, Burleson up to the plate now. Burleson 0 for 2 on the day. He'll lead it off for the Red Sox here in the 5th. And that's going to be a fly ball to center. Baylor is there, and he'll make the catch for the first out, retiring Burleson. Denny Doyle, 0 for 2 on the day. 5 column. And that'll be a swinging strikeout. And Lemancyk will get his 3rd strikeout of the day. He's walked 3 also. So Jim and Rice 0 for 1 with a walk. 3 column. That'll be a ground ball to short. Mason up with it. Over the alt. 6-3 on the putout. So let's look at the scores, which I think we mentioned in Game 1, but we'll mention again. The Angels shutting out the Oakland Athletics 7-0, and New York at Baltimore scoreless. So Otto Velez 0 for 1. 4 column. That'll be a ground ball to Hobson. Over to first. And Velez is the first out of the Blue Jay 5th. Doug Ault 0 for 1. And that'll be a swinging strikeout. So Stanley gets his 2nd K of the day. He's walked a batter. So 2 up, 2 down in the Blue Jays 5th. Brings up Dave McKay, who's 0 for 1. Off the 2 column. And that's going to be a ground ball to Scott at first. Scott very busy over there. Takes to the bag himself. And the Blue Jays go in order in the 5th through 5 full. 0-0. Alright, Lemancyk back on the hill, up to 87 pitches. Yastrzemski, Scott, and Fisk, if anybody gets on Evans for the Red Sox. Yastrzemski 0 for 2 on the day. And he'll ground out to Alt. Scoops it up. Takes it in the bag himself. The first out of the Red Sox 6, so Yastrzemski is retired. So Scott 1 for 2 on the day. One of the 2 Red Sox hits. One column. And this time does not get the split roll. And grounds out 5-3. So 2 up and 2 down in the Red Sox 6th. Fisk 0 for 1 with a walk. It's going to be a range check on Garcia, the second baseman. And Fisk is going to reach. So credit that a base hit to Garcia. As it gets past him into the right field. Alright, so top of the 6th. 2 down now. With a runner on first. Fisk on for the second time today. Fisk will be held on. Evans 0 for 2. See if Evans can keep it going here. It's going to be off the 1 column. And Evans will draw the 2-out walk. So the Red Sox will have another runner in scoring position. Hobson has reached twice today via the single and the walk. See if he can reach a third time. And put the Red Sox on the board off the 1 column. And that's going to be a swinging strikeout. So Hobson unable to come through in the clutch. And remains scoreless through 5.5. So Stanley will face Ashby, Garcia, and Baylor. Ashby 0 for 1 on the day. Oh, and he'll get a hold of one here. That's going to go to right. Evans is over there quickly, though. Cuts it off. Hold Ashby to a long single. Corners will play in on the grass for Garcia. Expecting him to bunt. And he'll drop one down. Stanley picks it up, fires to first. So successful sacrifice for Garcia. We'll put Ashby in scoring position with 1 down. Stanley looks in for the sign, looks at the runner, looks at Baylor, 0 for 2 so far today. Oh, and that's going to be a base hit to left. Yastrzemski up with it. And Ashby will hold, as Yastrzemski with a very good arm at -2. So run is at the corners. The corners are going to play in. Trying to cut off the run. Mason 0 for 1 with a walk. Here's the pitch by Stanley. Uh-oh, it's going to be a bunt. Squeeze. Scott throws home. And they get him coming home. Get Ashby coming home. So good play by Scott. Playing the infield in there. But Stanley not quite out of it yet, as the runners are on first and second with 2 down for Al Woods. Woods with a chance to put the Blue Jays on the board. Here's the windup and the pitch. That's going to be off the 3 column. And he got underneath that one. Scott calls for it. Makes the catch. And that will do it in the Toronto 6. So Toronto unable to get on the board. And we still have a 0-0 game through 6 full innings. Nothing but goose eggs up there. Alright, so do we leave Miller in or do we pinch hit here? Let's see here. Let me see what pinch hitters might have been used in this game. I think we are going to leave Miller in because if he does get on, he's got speed. And he's definitely the better defender here. Want to keep that defense strong in the... Yeah, Carbo did pinch hit for Miller later. And Steve Dillard came in and pinch hit for Miller. But seeing as Carbo came in to play right field. Nope, we're going to leave it like this for now. 0-0. So, in the actual game, the Red Sox won 6-5. So, it's a different type of ball game. This is more of a pitcher's duel. So, Miller 0 for 2 steps in the box against Lemancyk. Lemancyk up to 110 pitches. Corners are playing... All and McKay are playing in on the grass. Here's the windup and the pitch. And this is going to be a catcher card. Ooh, this may get in there. Nope. Ashby's able to pounce on it quickly and throw Miller out by a step. So leadoff hitter is retired. So Rick Burleson 0 for 3 up now. And 2 column, and that will be a foul out to first. So 2 up and 2 down. Danny Doyle 0 for 3 on the day. 3 column. And that'll be a ground ball to McKay at third. And the Red Sox go quietly in the 7th. So 7th inning stretch time. Let's look at the trivia question. What year did the Seattle Mariners and Toronto Blue Jays begin playing the American League? Well, if you've been watching this replay, you definitely know that. You definitely know that it is 1977 this year. So that was a pretty easy trivia question there. But as easy as you can get. Yep, 1977. The year of this replay. Alright, so Stanley back on the hill for the bottom of the 7th. He'll face Fairley, Velez, and Alt. Stanley, each pitcher has allowed just 3 hits. Both teams have had their chances. So Fairley looks in for the sign. Oh, it's going to be the 2 column. Woo! Thankfully, ends up grounding out to short. So 1 down now in the Toronto 7th. Brings up Otto Velez as one of the 3 hits for the Blue Jays. It's 2 column. And he'll draw the 1 out walk. It's like Jim Willoughby is getting up in the bullpen. Starting to loosen up. Alright, that'll bring up Alt now with 1 down and Velez at first. Velez being held on by Scott. Velez with a 12 speed. So pretty average speed there. Maybe a little bit above average. So Alt ready to grip and rip. Stanley looks in for the sign. Looks at the runner. Here's the delivery. 5 column. Oh, and he's going to get a hold on here. That's going to go over the head of Miller. Let's see if they send Velez here. That'll be extra bases for Alt. Now they're going to hold Velez at third. Whew, man. It'll be McKay coming in. Do we bring in Willoughby is the question. We'll go. So McKay's a lefty. Let's take a look at the... So Stanley's an 8R. Willoughby is a 7 left. Willoughby's better against lefties. Yeah, we're going to bring in Willoughby, I think, to relieve Stanley. Alright, so Stanley's day will be done. Jim Willoughby to come in. Willoughby struggled a bit so far. The 6.35 earned run average in 6 innings pitched, allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 strikeouts, and 1 home run. But he is good against lefties. So infield playing in. So Ashby would bat lefty too. So the question is, do we load the bases? I don't think so. No, with no runs being in yet, we're not gonna. We're gonna pitch to McKay. So Willoughby looks in for the sign. Looks at the runners. He has a delivery to McKay, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Ooh, and that's going to be off the 5 column. And that's going to be a fly ball to right. Evans is there. Evans has a -5 arm. Let's see if they run on him. He tags. And he'll score. So the throw comes in to third. So the Blue Jays get on the board first. On the sacrifice fly by Dave McKay. So 2 outs now. The runner on third for Alan Ashby. Ashby 1 for 2 on the day. Oh, and that's going to be extra bases for Ashby. It's going to go over the head of Miller. That Alt will trot home easily. And it's going to be 2-0 Toronto. So 2-0 Blue Jays. As they put across a 2 spot here in the bottom of the 7th. So we'll be looking to limit the damage here. And is able to get Garcia. Strikes him out. But Blue Jays get on the board. It's 2-0 after 7. Lemancyk now with a 2-run lead. He'll face Rice, Yastrzemski, and Scott, the Red Sox heart of the order. Rice 0 for 2 with a walk. And a good start as Rice is going to lead off with a single past Alt. That took a high hop over him. Alrighty, so that's going to bring up Yastrzemski as Rice will be held on at first. Yastrzemski hitless on day 0 for 3. 5 column. That'd be a ground ball to second. Bare hands that throws to second for 1, back to first. No, it looks like they just get the lead runner there. Yastrzemski will reach on the fielder's choice. So 1 down for Scott, who's 1 for 3 on the day. 3 column. And Scott will draw the walk. So runners on first and second, tying runs on board for Colin Fisk, who's 1 for 2 with a walk. See if they stick with Lemancyk. They will. So it's going to be off the 5 column. That's going to be a ground ball to short. Mason with a 4 range. Gets to it. Let's see if he can turn 2 here. Second for 1, back to first, not in time. Gets the lead runner. The middle runner. So the big runners at the corners now with 2 down. See if Dwight Evans can keep the inning going and get the Red Sox on the board. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. And Evans will strike out swinging. So it remains 2-0 Toronto after 7.5. We'll be back on the hill. Baylor up to the plate now. Baylor 1 for 3 on the day. Ground ball, range check to Hobson. Uh-oh. Gets to it. Bobbles it a little bit, but is able to recover and make the play for out number 1. So the Angels all over the Athletics, 11-5 now. New York and Baltimore still scoreless. So leadoff runner is on for the Blue Jays. Mason 0 for 2 with a walk. Uh-oh. Bunts it. We're going to throw for the lead runner. And they get him. So nice play by Fisk. Pounced on that one through the second and gets the lead runner. So 1 down now with Mason at first. Woods 0 for 3 on the day. Will be with the wind up in the pitch. Ground ball to short. Range check on Burleson. He'll get to it. See if they decide to turn 2 here, if he just goes to first. Yeah, fires to first. And Mason will be in scoring position now with 2 down. So the Blue Jays looking to add to their 2-run lead. Fairly 0 for 3 on the day. And that'll be a ground ball to Hobson. He'll handle it cleanly. Over to Scott to retire the side. So it remains 2-0. Red Sox down to their last 3 outs. Hobson 1 for 2 with a walk. It'll be Hobson, Miller, and Burleson. It looks like there is possibility of pinch hitter coming in for Miller. Looks like Carbo is grabbing a bat. So Hobson 1 for 2 with a walk. Off the 1 column. And he'll go down on strikes. Lemancyk looking to get the complete game. Shutout. So Miller 0 for 3. He'll be brought back. And I think we're going to go with... Do we go with Dillard? No, not Dillard. We're going to go with Carbo. Yep, Carbo is going to come in to pinch hit. So Bernie Carbo grabs the bat. He comes in hitting .333 in 3 for 9 so far in the season. 2 runs batted in. He's walked 6 times though, so they'll look. Red Sox need base runners, at least 1, and so they bring Carbo up. So Carbo steps into the box. Lemancyk looks in for the sign. We didn't get the one column. But there is a lot of good stuff on this if you can get a low or especially a high roll. And Carbo is going to get into one. Going, and gone. So Carbo with a pinch hit home run puts the Red Sox on the board. So 2-1 now. So Red Sox have cut the Blue Jay lead in half. So let's see if they stay with Lemancyk after giving up the solo home run by Bernie Carbo. So a good manager choice there of having Carbo bat for Miller. So Burleson 0 for 4 on the day. And it's got 2 column, which is nothing good on that. So there's no chance of him reaching here. Oh, that's going to be a ground ball to Garcia over to first. Red Sox are down to their last out. See if Denny Doyle can extend the inning here. He's 0 for 4 on the day and bring up the big hitters. And it looks like they're going to bring in the closer, Johnson. So Jerry Johnson, 2 and 4 with 5 saves on the actual season. 460 earned run average on their replay. He's 0 for 1 with a 3.38 earned run average, 8 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 6 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So he can get wild. Let's hope he does here against Doyle. And we'll bring up Rice. So here's the pitch to Doyle. And not much of a chance on there, just the 10. Does find it, but gets too high of a split roll. And throw pulls him off the bag, but he's able to recover and tag Doyle out for out number 3. So the Red Sox do get a run in the 9th, but ends up being too little too late as they fall to the Blue Jays 2-1 to gain a split of the doubleheader. Well, to have a split of the doubleheader. So the Red Sox still win the series, but aren't able to sweep the Jays. So let's take a look at the box score. So good pitchers duel here in Toronto in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Lemancyk will get the win. He's 1 and 2 with now he goes 8 2/3 innings, allowing 5 hits, just 1 run it was earned. The solo home run to Carbo. 5 walks, 6 strikeouts. Not the sharpest of appearances, but effective nonetheless. Johnson comes in and pitches a third of an inning, getting the save, retiring Doyle. Bob Stanley takes the tough luck loss. He goes 6 1/3 innings, allowing just 4 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Jim Willoughby goes 1 1/3 innings, allowing just 2 hits and striking out a batter. But one of those hits did allow the go-ahead run to score. Well, not go-ahead, but the runs to score for the Blue Jays. I believe the second run, which ended up being the winning run. Anyway, for the Toronto Blue Jays, not much for hitting there, but any extra base hits there. Alton Ashby had extra base hits, so Alan Ashby, I guess, was 2 for 3 with an RBI. McKay was 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly there, so we're going to give Alan Ashby player of the game. Actually, no, we'll give him offensive star of the game. We'll give Lemancyk still the player of the game with the pitching performance. For the Red Sox, only managed just 5 hits, nobody with more than 1 hit, but Bernie Carbo was their hitting star with the pinch hit home run. So that's it in Boston as the Red Sox follow the Jays. And I think they did actually win this one, like I said, 6-5, so they'll fall back to just 1 game ahead of their 2 games ahead of their actual record. So they fall to 8-6 and now 1.5 behind Baltimore. And they were actually 6-8, so still 2 games ahead of their pace. The Yankees in third, 1.5 games behind. Sorry, tied for second, 1.5 games behind. Cleveland 7-6, Milwaukee 6-7, Detroit 6-10, and Toronto rounds it out 5-12. Kansas City with a half-game lead over Chicago in the West, 11-4, 10-4. Minnesota just a game behind, 11-6. The Angels 10-8, 2.5 games behind. Texas 5-9, 5.5. Oakland's 6-11, and Seattle rounds out 8 games behind at 5-14. So let's see where the Red Sox go next as they finish their series with the 3-game series with the Blue Jays. Looks like the Red Sox are going to travel to Milwaukee to face the Brewers. Looks like it's going to be... It's going to be Rick Wise will face Jerry Augustine for the Brew Crew. Alright, and it looks like it'll be on Tuesday, April 26th, tomorrow. So we'll see how much of a series that is. So at least a 2-game series. And yeah, just a 2-game series with the Red Sox. They have a off day on Thursday. Sort of, again, and then they'll face the Oakland Athletics returning home for a weekend series against the A's. Alright, so that is it. So the Boston Red Sox gain a split in the doubleheader, win the series, and are now 8-6. So thank you for joining me. We'll be back for game number 15 against the Brew Crew in Milwaukee. So take care and God bless. Bye-bye now.